The safest place to do Jagero is always to point at the ills. That is the safest place to be. And that is why when you push Linda Mananchi or any other aspect of this opposition that we have in Kenya today towards the fundamental question, what do you want to do? What is your plan? They don't want to have that conversation. They will start saying things like it's not campaign time. But in pointing out the ills, they are campaigning using the ills.
Yes.
So in the ills, it's campaign time. They can be able to go out and talk about that because it is easy to blame, Jagero. Blaming people is the easiest thing to do. And that is why all of us, when we were children, we thought our parents were incompetent until we became parents. Because it is always easy to actually lay blame. When you look at the aspect of the agenda, which is the fundamental aspect of any election. First of all, you cannot be able to say that what do Kenyans expect from us now and we are not campaigning. Because people elect you on the basis of something you believe in. Even before, because a manifesto, Jagero, is now the blueprint that you put down that is anchored on your belief system. So the first thing that people have about you is your belief system. All of us knew, before Raila told us what is his manifesto, we would be able to know and imagine what Raila wants to do. We knew that this is a reformer. This is a man who has fought for devolution. This is a man who stands for this. And on the basis of that, then we expect that his manifesto will then mirror how he is going to actually implement this. Now, that is what is lacking, that depth. And that's why today, when you look, for instance, and I want to give you an evaluation, Jagero. When you look at Safina Party and the party leader of Joachim, we can point at something and say, these guys are so obsessed with debt matters. Yeah? So that debt is not necessarily the manifesto, but it's a belief system. So we are going to expect that when they are going to deal as how we are going to deal with education, how are you going to deal with health, how are you going to do it will anchor, it will mirror this belief system that they have that about debt. When you talk about someone like Maraga, everyone will be able to say, this guy, we know that he is talking about the rule of law. So there is a belief system around the rule of law. So with this rule of law, we then expect that his manifesto and agenda will cascade downwards to that. When you talk about the ruling government today, you know that these people are anchored on something called a bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And today, as they head into the election, they are promising a Singapore dream. And in this, they are anchoring it on an infrastructure bond, and they have a way of doing it. These are the things that we want to believe them about. Now, when you come to Linda Mananchi, that is what people want to also see. They want to say, okay, fine, we think you are doing the right thing, but what is your belief system? And let me take you quickly through what then they promise the people in their messaging.
Okay.
They go to Nyeri.
Okay.
And the biggest message that Linda Mananchi has in Nyeri is an apology to Rigathi for impeaching him.
Okay.
And then they go to Kisii. And then what is the biggest message of Linda Mananchi in Kisii? The biggest message to the people of Kisii is that you should be able to do away with Simba Arati because he fought me as Secretary General. He did not agree with me during NEC meetings. And so, on the basis of his disagreement with me, and on the basis that he is not making me happy, therefore the people of Kisii must be able to say that don't vote for this gentleman as governor. What was the other message in Kisii? The other message in Kisii was to tell the people of Kisii that, hey, you guys, I can now qualify to be your Kisii kingpin. And I want to direct you that this gentleman called Onyonka can then become your next governor. That was the message. Then you go to Bungoma. What was now the Linda Mananchi message? The Linda Mananchi message was that let us come together as lawyers and therefore decide that this brother should be our leader. So you can be able to see that you cannot be able to pinpoint something and say that this is what Linda Mananchi is selling. They were in Machakos just the other day. And I would challenge you, Jagero, to tell me, what is this fundamental thing that was said in Machakos that was quite a blockbuster? This thing that they said and everyone would feel like, wow, they have a solution to this. Because you look at it and in every place they are going, it's the chant. The chant is the same. And the message, if it's there, it is the same one term. And as this continues, the common Kenyan is starting to ask themselves, wait a minute, what exactly is this? And when you speak like that, those who are very obsessed in love for that particular moment, they would want to profile you. They would want to call you an apologist. They would want to call you are against them and such kind of things. The truth is that that is the political reality. And they should be able to be happy with those of us who point truth to them. Why? Because it is only by confronting these fears that they don't want to, that they can be able to make a difference. Otherwise, there is always something politics, Jagero, about lying to yourself so much that you think you've lied to everybody. And that is what Adrian has now gotten to. He was very objective before he became an advisor. Now he has joined the team. They have lied to him. He has now soaked in it. Now he does not believe in it, but he has to churn it out. And you see, there is always this thing that you keep telling yourselves. And I remember we also used to do it in Azimio and in Jubilee, Jagero. That every time we lost election, and it pointed to the reality that we are going to lose the general election, we said there are some secrets that we are having that don't worry. You know, at the end of the day, we have some secret card. That is the lie that has been fed to my brother, that there is a secret card. Politics is as obvious as it can be seen. When you are losing elections today, you are going to lose the general election. Nothing more. If you cannot see the structure now, the structure is not going to be there. But now there is something that you'll be lied to. I remember we struggled a lot at the party level managing our aspirants. And every time the aspirants used to ask us, so what do we do next? We always say, no, we just wait. Wait, there's something. There's something that we are working on. There was actually nothing. There is always nothing. I want to tell my younger brother that this thing they're telling him is not, he must stop thinking that his bosses, there is something meticulous they are doing somewhere. It's actually not there.
There's a gentleman that came here during lunchtime. They want to be